So altcoins have had a pretty rough time of it over the past week or so, with Bitcoin dumping and altcoins bleeding even harder. Most altcoins now below their yearly opens. However, there are a couple of signs of life which could lead to an altcoin bounce. And in this video, I'm going to be going over the top 5 opportunities that I think are on the cards should we see those favorable weekly closes. Starting off then with some analysis on BTC, and not much has changed since Monday's video. As you can see, still holding the daily mid-range 66.7k as resistance and below, trending below that moving average 21 on the daily time frame. Not looking good. And as you can see, today's candle not looking too good either. Yesterday had a big spike up and it just got sold straight into. So looking like a potential retest of the daily range low of 60.5k is on the cards, as we talked about last week and on Monday's video as well, ever since we lost the moving average 21 as support and of course lost the daily mid-range as well. So normally that would obviously mean that if Bitcoin's going to drop, then, as has been the theme especially for the last week or so, that altcoins are going to drop harder. However, as you can see, Ethereum not dropping as hard as BTC at the moment, and some altcoins actually still in the green despite Bitcoin being almost 2% down on the day. So whilst this is, as I said at the beginning of the video, a very small rate of hope, it is something to be keeping an eye on. Now, maybe this is just for today. Maybe it'll play catch up over the weekend. We'll have to wait and see. But for now, we've got to play what we see. And at the moment, that is a fairly good sign that although Bitcoin is dropping, altcoins are holding their own and Ethereum isn't dropping as hard. But yes, certainly could see BTC come down, retrace to the daily range low once again. We obviously want to see this daily range low hold at 60.5k. We don't want to see this range break down, because then we could be looking at mid 50s or even high 40ks for BTC. So we'll have to wait and see. But as I say, if we get down to 6k, we better hope it holds. On to Ethereum then. Not really too much to talk about on the weekly time frame. As you can see, we talked about the lower high that we made a few weeks ago. We could be coming down to the moving average 21 on the weekly time frame, which is around 3.250. But yeah, we've made a potential nice double bottom here with these 2 wicks. If we go down to the daily time frame, again, really want to see a reclaim of this moving average 21, which we're currently holding as resistance. But as you can see, we've got a bit of a support line here at about $3,450. You can see we've had a couple of wicks below there, but we've not managed to get a daily close below the lows that we put in on Thursday. So holding this level pretty well. As I say, if we can start to climb up, reclaim that moving average 21, get back above the daily level 3685, then Ethereum will be looking a lot healthier. However, if we can't manage that, then potentially a revisit down to this 3250 level we've got on the daily time frame. But at the moment, pretty sideways for Ethereum. If we take a look at ETH BTC, now the thing I talked about on Monday's video was the fact that on previous occasions where the Ethereum BTC chart had closed above the moving average 21 on the weekly time frame, we had closed directly below it within the next 2 candles. As you can see, this example here, 8th of Jan, nice strong bullish candle. 2 candles later, boom, back below the moving average 21. And again here, on the 19th of Feb, strong weekly candle close, rejected straight back below the moving average 21 again, and both times we've rejected from this 0.06 weekly level. Now, of course, this is an index chart. It's not an actual asset, i.e. like an altcoin versus USDT or Bitcoin USDT, or an altcoin versus BTC, etc. This is an index, so take technical analysis on this chart with a large pinch of salt. However, you can see that we have closed a strong weekly candle above the weekly moving average. We've held it as support 3 weeks in a row now, and we are starting to trend up. We've held the RSI 50 and we have got a green trend bar on the LC trend momentum indicator as well. So as I said on Monday's video, if this was an asset, a tradable asset like an alt USD pair, I would be looking at that as a starting to trend up and a first sign of strength. So hopefully that can continue on the ETH BTC chart, and it occurs in 2 ways: either Ethereum outperforming Bitcoin, i.e. trending harder, going up faster than Bitcoin, or as what we're seeing today, when Bitcoin drops, Ethereum drops slower and holds its ground. So at the moment, so far so good on the Ethereum BTC chart. As I say, as long as we stay above the moving average 21, and then we can take on the 0.06 level, break that, and we should start trending up to those monthly range highs of about 0.08. But early days still at the moment. If we just quickly take a look at the Bitcoin dominance chart, of course, this is the inverse of the ETH BTC chart. You want to see this drop, which will mean that the ETH BTC chart goes up, which is good for altcoins versus BTC, particularly in their alt BTC pairings. At the moment, not really too much to talk about. We've had that spike up to 57% and rejected, and we've gone fairly sideways on the higher time frame charts, the monthly and the weekly, although this looks like a little bit of a bearish candle potentially on this week. So hopefully we will start to see that trend start to roll over and head back down to the 40% range. Fingers crossed. Let's move on then to the altcoins that I think are well worth keeping an eye on this week's weekly candle close. So I covered ADA on Monday's video, exactly the same setup. So we've got this big range here. You can either separate it into two ranges. So you've got the upper range here with the range high at about 60 cents, range low of 40 cents, and the mid range coming in at 50 cents. So what we want to see here is this weekly candle close at around 40 cents or above, holding this weekly range low as support, and then we can start potentially having a little bounce and a trend up. However, if we do close below it, what you want to see is an immediate recovery and a re-entry into this range, so or a mean reversion back into the range and then trend up to the range high, similar to the opposite of what happened back here in April. So this was a deviation to the upside. If I just grab the brush, so what you saw here, break over the top of the range high, and then the very next week we got back below, deviated, and then you can see the momentum went down and retested the range low. So what we want to see is the opposite here. If we were to get a weekly candle close below this weekly range low, what you want to see is the very next candle to close back above within the range, and then we can start trending up to the weekly range high. Potentially that's something to keep an eye on. Or as I say, if we just hold this level as support, then even better. Moving on then to AVAX. And again, we are trying to hold on to these weekly range lows here at $29. As you can see, big level of previous support and resistance. The last two times we've tested it as support, or three times in fact, we've managed to hold it. You can see we've had a nice big wick. Now that's normally what I like to see on a big level support. Nice big wick and then recover, close the weekly candle above support. So again, very similar to what I've just talked about in ADA. If we get that weekly candle close back within the weekly range low, then we can start to see it bounce. Or if we do close below, you want to see an immediate recovery the following week. So something to keep an eye on, as I say, on this weekly candle close. Injective, same again. Big level of support here on the weekly time frame at $21. You can see big level of resistance back here during April and May 2021, and it's been support ever since April, as you can see. So retested it as support a number of times since the beginning of April, and another test here again today. So end of this week, what you want to see is a candle close above around $21, and then we could start to see a bounce back up to, you could argue this is a weekly range, back up to $30. Or once again, if we do see a candle close below, you want to see an immediate recovery, candle close back above, deviation back into the range. NIA, exactly the same scenario on the $4.89 weekly candle, weekly level of support, sorry. You can see big level of resistance all the way back here, or in fact it was even a support all the way back in 2021, resistance here in 2022, and then it's been support ever since around, again, 8th of April time. Nice big bounce there on the 8th of April, rallied all the way up to what you could argue was a range high of $8.30, retrace, and now we want to see this weekly level hold. Obviously this is looking a lot better than the previous three assets that we've looked at. Nice big bounce so far on off of this level. We go to the daily, you can see nice little start to trend up here. So keeping an eye on that, make sure that weekly candle close is within $4 or above $4.89, and again we could see that start to rally, particularly if we look on the daily time frame. What you want to now see is we start trending up, make higher highs and higher lows, and get back above that weekly moving average 21. And then Solana, last one, weekly time frame. Again, big level of previous support and resistance here at $137. You can see support back here in October 21, Jan 2022, resistance in March and April 22, and then it's been support. In fact, it was resistance again here in Feb 2024. Flipped it as support, as you can see, in March, and we've been not had a candle close below it, a weekly candle close below it, ever since that time. So since February of this year, we've had many attempts. You can see all these wicks failed to close below, and as I say, we're testing it now, and we're pretty much testing or we're below the weekly moving average 21 as well. So what we want to see, hold this level, hold the weekly moving average 21 and start trending up again. So an important weekly candle close coming up in the next couple of days. So really want to see a weekly candle goes above 137, and then we can have a nice little bounce and start trending up towards 204 again. However, as I said at the beginning of the video, it all does depend on what happens with Bitcoin and Ethereum. Does Bitcoin manage to hold these daily range lows? Should we go down and test them? What will the reaction be from Ethereum and altcoins? And yeah, will we see that ETH BTC chart start trending up and holding its strength against BTC? What altcoins are you looking at? Do you think we are going to see a resurgence in the altcoins after the bloodbath that we've witnessed over the last week or two? Or do you think they are in for more pain alongside BTC? Drop in your comments below, let me know. And in the meantime, have a good weekend. I'll catch you on the next video.